positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. You have now tuned in to the Imperfect Fathers Podcast.
Yo, what it do? What it do? Positive energy from me to you. This RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. And yeah.
What's up?
Episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Yo, TR, what it do, man?
Oh, man, listen, Doc, it feels good to be back, man. We've been on hiatus. We've been on spiritual journeys. Look like your hairline was on a spiritual journey.
What up?
Oh, man, KB is in the building.
Oh, yeah. You talking crazy.
Better late than never.
You know what I mean? Make sure you see me.
I had to put the phone on charge for a little bit.
Doc, what's going on, man? That look like, let me see that thing. That look like one of them hair prosthesis these cats is out here getting.
Yeah, show you right.
It look like one of them hair prosthetics.
Nah, brush mine.
That boy out there swimming.
I can brush mine. Yo, KB, what it do, man?
Man, I'm good, man. What's good with y'all? Baby girl ain't feeling too. She ain't 100, so.
Uh-oh. We all going through it right now.
Listen, KB done came back. He got a new hairstyle,
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. The boy got the up on the head. What's going on, man?
I had to do something with the mop top.
Okay. That's what it's like to have a full head of hair. I guess I don't know what that's.
You must be clean like. Right out the office, huh?
Y'all know I ain't got no pants on.
Yo, now just for old time's sake, I had to take him out of here. I had to get him out of here, baby. Just because we ain't been here.
We ain't started yet.
Y'all know I ain't got no pants on.
You know what I mean? Yo, listen. Yeah, everybody who know us, you know how we rock. We got to pay the bills and talk to the Father, man. So with that being said, Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity to come together and gather as brothers, as men, as kings, as we come across this platform that we may have a conversation that may help somebody, benefit them in a positive way, that may be a better individual for themselves and their family community going forward. God, this is our prayer. This is our desire. We ask you to do these things in your matchless name. Amen.
Amen.
I thought we was still in the back room.
So I know, listen, this is going to be the last episode for the 2021.
Right.
And we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we wanted to get a head start going in to 2022. So 2022, do I need to send you my prayers in advance for you to approve them?
Yo, Jess, blessings to you, my guy. Yo, listen, no, what you got to do is open your mouth and let me know when you want to pray. Like, let me know ahead of time. Like, what's so crazy is if you go back and check every episode, he either tells me in the middle of my prayer he wants to pray, or right after I pray. He tells me, oh, yeah, I want to pray.
Because you hog it is what it feels like. You like the Steph Curry of prayers or something.
Hey, listen.
You think you're LeBron James out here passing the rock to Jesus? I mean, let somebody else get the prayer rock, man.
Yeah, listen,
let's move on, man.
I'll throw you the rock.
I'm not gonna keep holding you on prayer.
It's gonna be interesting. That's all I got to say.
As you can see, we can't even pay the bills and talk to the Father without this guy going at it. So check this out. We should have some sponsors for security to get Troy up out of here. But anyway, we ain't got one of those yet. We got sponsors that actually produce some fantastic music. We guys over It's Now or Never Entertainment. I can't even say a company's name right now, KB. It's Now and Never Entertainment. Go over there and let them know the Imperfect Father sent you. They have a whole bunch of beats that sound amazing, whether it need to be behind your reels, content, movies, you name it. KB has a music product for your product. So go over there, check them out. Shop Black, Shop Smart, Shop It's Now and Never ENT, and let them know we sent you. Check this out for all your print needs. I don't have on a shirt tonight because it's in the washing machine, but check this out. KB is prepared and he's fully right. And Troy is wearing one of his good suits, tops. We know he ain't wearing the bottom. So
I can't stand up or else I would show y'all the drawers that Cassie printed. I
yeah.
Sit your ass.
I don't think the audience is ready for all this man meat.
have it sat down. Okay, get down. All your print needs, especially not on Troy's ass. All your print needs. Check this out. I like Cassie's Classic Design. She's on Instagram at Cassie's_classic_design. And if you want to get her directly at her Gmail, that's Cassie'sClassicDesign@gmail.com. Yo, Troy, do your job, man.
Hey, so listen, for all the people that are tuning in, or any new viewers, any old viewers, listen, if y'all want to see me pray in 2022, and if y'all want to see me pay the bills and pronounce it's now or never entertainment correctly, because my cousin, he got a heavy tongue. He from tongue is
that boy
heavy.
campaigning.
Yeah. So, get in our inbox if you want to see me pray and pay the bills in 2022. Yes. That's all I got, man. Listen, we coming, man. We got a lot of stuff going into 2022. Relationships. Relationships. And those always big for me, man. Just because I think especially with a lot of things that are going on, right now, I think, man, relationships are taking a big hit.
Yeah.
From COVID, people not really being able to get out, touch each other, feel each other, see each other the way that they want. Not to mention COVID has really put a strain on relationships. To vaccine, not to vaccine. Right. That's no, listen, I'm keeping it all the way a stack, man. Some people's relationships are not withstanding the vaccine. Right.
It's true.
One party is saying, hey, I'm getting it. The other party is saying I'm not getting it. People are, and I think the other part of it is, and I think I don't know if this is serious or not, but I sent this out to the group. It was either yesterday or today, just something I'm just trolling the internet or whatever. And this chick said, if you taking me out for basically it was like, hey, let's go for tea on our first date.
Mm-hmm.
And she was basically like, yo, if you trying to take me out for tea on our first date, we could do that shit on FaceTime or whatever. She was like, if only tea bag I want is basically on my face. But I say that, I say it jokingly, but the reality is a lot of people, I think I don't know, maybe men, women, mostly women. I don't know. I don't want to disproportionately, call anybody out, but are women like, yo, if you're not taking me out on a bomb first date, or does the cost of the date dictate the quality of the conversation?
Wow.
That's what I want to know.
Yo, KB, I see you over there churning. Go ahead, KB. Like, I see you over there churning. Go ahead.
Man, I think the quality of conversation lies between the two people who are conversing. Just because I take you into Mickey D's, or I take you to Benihana's, or I take you to Morton Steakhouse, that's not going to change your level of intellect. So the quality of the conversation is going to be to your limits, or to the limits of the people that are conversing. Now, if we're talking about the quality as terms of, am I getting it tonight? Then I say, yeah. If I take you to Morton Steakhouse or J. Alexander, J. Marks, or something like that.
But so here's the question, though. But again, so the question I asked, does the price of the check determine whether you should get the buns?
No, in my book.
I mean, and listen, if there are any ladies out there that are listening right now, please feel free to chime in, because again, I've been out of this dating arena, for a minute. RJD has been out of it for a minute. KB, I think you recently back on the scene. In terms of what it looks like. But again, when I'm gonna be real old school.
Uh-oh.
When I was courting my wife
Oh shoot. Dang.
When I was courting. Yo, but here's the thing. Our first date was at a coffee shop. And we had some dope ass conversation. We literally talked for almost 5 hours in the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
And I don't think any of our beginning dates, and here's the thing. In the beginning, she paid for dates too. If she called me up and asked me out, she paid.
Yo,
I like that. I know I like Lisa.
But no, at the end of the day, check this out. 50 Cent said this too when they asked him questions on one of those late night shows I watched. He said, if who's pays for the date if you go out? 50 Cent, whoever's idea was. And like, to be honest, like, I have no problem with that. Like, see, like this, I'm so confused how we've gotten money intertwined with a person's value. Like, I'm so confused at how we brought that into relationship. Because put it like this, like you said, Troy, I've been out of the game for a long time. When me and my wife, when we first started dating, our dates was in my car. I was in the street.
You a dirtbag. Where's Cassie at, man? Come on, Cassie. I
don't mean those kind of dates. Troy is a fool. But I mean, like, yo, you know the lifestyle I was living. Like, every time I had opportunity to sit and talk with her was in my car because I'm constantly in my vehicle on the move doing what I was doing. So a lot of our big conversations when we first started dating were in my car. So if
is that when you were selling Kirby's?
Right. Kirby
one of them, like.
So every time that I think to myself, if Cassie had that mindset, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Like, if she had the thought process of some of the women I'm seeing over the internet right now, we wouldn't be together. And that's just the way I'm looking at things. Like, a lot of these women that have these ideals and thought process are going to be single for the rest of their lives. And if they're not single, I'm not wishing that on them, but the person they're going to find is not going to really value them and treat them the right way because they're not even in a position themselves to be treated the right way.
Yo, do we sound like Kevin Samuels? Nah.
Nah. What the fuck? Who?
No, but it's you know, I listen to, like, you know, I listen to what women are saying. You know, either, you know, when I'm in the cigar lounge or, you know, just being on the internet. And it's crazy because they're like, yo, dude should always pay for the dates.
Right.
You're not getting ready to take me, you know, no place cheap. But I guess I just look at it again from the perspective, does the price of the check dictate the quality of the conversation? Like, are you going to have better quality? Are we going to have a better quality conversation? Are you going to like me more or my personality more because I spent more money? Do I become more attractive because I spent more money?
Right. That's and honest to God, if that's the case, count me out. Call me ugly.
Or are you going to learn to become attracted to me? That's the one thing.
I don't want that kind of love.
Yeah.
I've heard that before, Troy. I'm glad you said that because I've heard somebody say that to me. And over time, I guess that it worked for that person. But to me, I don't want that kind of love. I don't want you to have to learn to like me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want you to have to learn the ways to be able to tolerate me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what you're telling me at this point. You're tolerating me. You don't even like me as a person. If what I'm bringing to you is qualified by the price tag on it, you're just tolerating me.
So then, I mean, if we were out there though, then, right, Doc? If you were, when would the date get more expensive? When would or does it have to? Right? Does I mean,
put it like this, Troy. I eat where I like to eat food at. Like I like where the food tastes good at. So I've been to a few restaurants. I'm not gonna say no names because I ain't gonna do nobody dirty. And their food wasn't the best. And it's supposed to be a top restaurant. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to go to places that food tastes good to me. So I'm a soul food dude. I'm a Spanish food dude. So like we're gonna go to a bodega too. We're going to go to somebody's Papi or Jamaican spot somewhere. We're gonna eat like that. Like it's never going. If you want to eat expensive, we can go to bring that food to a nice place and sit down or something. But I'm not trying to go somewhere where I don't enjoy the food just for an ambiance. No. And what is ambiance doing for you other than that moment?
So let me ask you this. Do you think, because we saw the pandemic shift a lot of things, right? We saw the pandemic stripped how people, shift, which is taking me into stripping. We saw how the pandemic, and I'm stay with me. I'm gonna take it in. We saw the pandemic shift, right? A lot of different things. We couldn't go to strip clubs, so those people went to OnlyFans. They went to Twitter. They went to all of these other, Fansly and all of these other platforms. So now we see a surprising number of women who have explored other talents, right? i.e. sex work.
Right.
And they are making, listen, let's be clear, they're making a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I read something the other day that this chick put on. She said, yo, sex work is work, right?
Sad.
I ain't mad with you.
Yeah, listen, get your money how you get it.
My thing is like just as long as you know, like I had a discussion on this very platform when you guys like one of the guys episodes where you guys wasn't here, and I had a discussion about the young boy down his mother's OnlyFans page. So like my thing is like if you doing it, queen, make sure you're doing it too, and you ain't got no children out here. Like if you got kids out here, and especially in the teenage era where they are accessible to the internet, man, listen, you shouldn't be out here doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so where I was really going with it was, I think it has changed now the perspective of how some women are now getting money, right? So how some younger women are bringing a completely different bag home that you no longer have to go to corporate to bring the bag home. You no longer have to go stand on the stage to bring the bag home. You no longer got to go, stroll to bring the bag home. Like, listen, they are literally bringing the bag home because people out here paying the money on the internet to do it. So I say all of that to say, now they're changing the game so much. It's like, yo, some women are bringing so much money home that they're looking at a dude and saying, you can't even meet me here. You can't even see me.
But see, Troy, and that's the issue right there.
But
like,
what you talking? Let's before we even go there, let's make a huge shout out to all of the RNs, because the RNs won during the pandemic. I think that's the picture that we need to be really painting for our daughters. And if you want to go into the medical field, because the RNs made bank during this here pandemic. But to go back onto topic, if that female who's making all that money, that's her standard, it's nothing we can say or do about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's some, let's understand that there are some out there who are willing, even though they are making a majority of the money. And let's face it, if you're going into a relationship right now, especially with the way that Black women are educated, they're probably making more money than you are. It's just a fact of life right now. So if as long as you're comfortable within your skin and know what you bring into the table, then you walk into it like RJD preaches, with confidence. Confidence kill all that shit.
Yeah, but how confident can I be? And again, listen, no disrespect. No disrespect to sex workers, right? They say sex work is work, right? But as a man, how confident can you be knowing, one, unless you are, I guess, a part of the show, but how confident can you be, or can you be confident knowing that one, your chick brings home a crazy bag, and the way she gets it is, either selling coochie on the internet, showing coochie on the internet, or whatever it is. Can you be confident in that?
I ain't even gonna hold you. I couldn't even rock with it.
It's all
in terms of, especially like as stingy as I am, like I need to make sure that once I say that we're together and we decided that we're exclusive, that's a no-go.
When she dropped that bag on a new whip for you though, does it change your mind?
No, it doesn't. But are we exclusive? If we're not exclusive and you dropping bags on me, I'm fine with it. I'll be that for you. But if we're exclusive, like that's a conversation that I could never really answer, because it's a situation that I'll never really be in. Because for me, that's a no-go. It's a no-starter.
I got you.
And to be honest, like to the point of, if she feels like you can't meet her there because of X amount of money, that's a character flaw, right? Like, and like you took the KB's point, it'll never be, because the character is flawed in that space. So you wouldn't even put yourself in the position, right? Because, and this is what I tell like the guys that I coach, whenever that you hear a woman tell you, oh, well, if you don't bring X amount, you can't have it. Whenever you hear that and it does something to you, but hear me good though, KB, and that does something to you as a man, there's some personal development work that you have to do. Because the only thing she did to you at that point in time was show you two things: how shallow she is, and really you shouldn't be want to mess with her to begin with. But I hear a woman say, and obviously I'm a married man and I have been off the market for a while, but if I hear a woman say, well, if he doesn't have a certain amount of money, he can't mess with me, I'm cool with that thought process, because she's in the same category now where I look at you as no more than a high-class prostitute. Because in order for me to get with you, I have to show you X amount of money. Because at the same time, for me to go outside and get a prostitute, I have to show her a certain amount of money to get a service out of her. So
I don't disagree.
So let me ask you this, Doc, though. What if she wasn't, right? What if it wasn't sex work? And she was, let's say she was an RN, and shout out to all the RNs, right? Let's just say she was an RN who brought the bag home during COVID, right? Because we know they did overtime, right? Working in different hospitals, doing different things, right? A lot of our RNs were already making bread, but some of them really cleared it, right?
Right.
But she said, yo, I really got my bag up during the pandemic. Does your bag match my bag?
And that, like, Troy, is a total different question, though, because like the way you present it is different. Because check this out. Because if she's saying that to a gentleman, saying that like, I got my bag to this level and I don't want to settle, right? That's cool. But it was presented as, well, in order to mess with me, you got to be making X, Y, Z. That's a total different statement. That's a total different energy. Like, my thing is this: if I was a single man, right? If I was a single man and I met a woman that says to me, listen, I only mess with men that made $80,000 to $100,000 per year, I would say, you know what? I'm cool with that. Now, if I made $80,000 to $100,000, that's not the case. I'm cool with that being her standard, right? That's what she has for herself. Now, if that same woman says to me, well, in order to mess with me, in order to get with me, in order to get these buns, right? And with that kind of energy, in order to get with me, you need to make an X, Y, Z. I put you in the same category as a prostitute. Because to me, it's different. It's a different energy, and you presented it different to me.
I don't
One is a standard, and one is an entrance fee.
Not necessarily. The reality is, when you look at what's happening out here in the dating game right now, they're one and the same. If you really listen to what's happening out here in the dating game, and listen, I'm not telling women, I'm not telling anybody how to date. Date how you date.
Right.
Right. What I'm asking is it any different versus the chick who went out here and made $300,000 on OnlyFans versus the chick who made 90 racks, right, as an RN? their professions are different, but they're looking at it the same way to say, yo, I have a standard now. I have a different standard of what I want when it comes to money and when it comes to men. But I think there's certainly a huge difference in 90 and 300, right? Because I've been reading it on the internet, right? You got this black chick on OnlyFans. She done made $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million.
She in a different tax bracket. I'm never gonna knock someone for their standards.
What have
ever
you in the industry?
But based on your conversation, I get turned off. I like to think as myself as a psychosexual. Like, I need to get in your mind before I really get. For me to really lay it down in the bed, I need to first get in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and if your mind takes me there, then I'm able to really maneuver and get there with you. But if the conversation is, if you're not making 80,000, whether if I was or not, you're not someone that I'm interested in speaking to, because in my opinion, our conversations will be two completely different things. You're over there and I'm over here with it. I don't even want to call it shallow, but to me, that would be a complete turnoff, because you're not necessarily looking for me for who I am, what could I bring to the table, or anything like that. You're looking at my Chase account. My Chase account is not me.
But to some people it is. Yo, and shout out to
That's
my
what I'm
wife
saying.
who popped something in the comment that said, well, what if you met her in the industry? Right? That's cool. If I met you in the industry, I don't think it cares. I look at it and say, I don't care what your profession is, right? As long as you're exclusive to me, or if our relationship supports you not being exclusive, right? But what I'm saying is, I'm a sales manager, right? Average sales manager, I might bring home 80 or 90, but you bring home 3 or 4. Do you still love me the same way? Do you still respect me the same way? Because I think that's a huge thing, right? And that's the other part of it when it comes to the relationship.
But
Is
her character, bro?
Is the respect still there?
But how is that even a question, though, Troy?
Because
but and this is what
it's a reality, though.
It is a reality, but what I'm saying is, I swear to God, this is why I go and I love my wife so hard after these conversations. It's because, like, in my world, this don't exist. I can't even imagine this, y'all. You hear me? Like, I can't even imagine my wife respect being predicated on the money that I bring in the house. Like, when I was bringing illegal money in the house, the respect level was where it's at right now. When I wasn't bringing no money in the house, the respect level is where it's at right now. Now that I'm bringing money in the house legally, the respect level is where it's at right now. The respect level doesn't change, being predicated on how much money I bring in this damn house. So how are we confusing respect with money?
Listen, because it's
a reality, unfortunately.
But that's why we're having a conversation, because the reality is it's happening, bro. And it's happening a lot.
I think it's a reality, and I think we'll be remiss not to talk about it or discuss it on this podcast. And being back on the dating game, like, I see, like, everybody, if you don't have a big chain and if you don't drive the latest of vehicles, I once seen a girl said, "Oh, if his car is older than mine, then he don't get no playtime." Like, man, shut the hell up.
But KB, look what you just said. She said, if your car is not or is older than mine, you don't get no playtime. Do you hear what we're saying?
Listen, I agree with you. Now, that conversation was dead right there.
But check this out. But see, the same woman, right? She will have a problem now if we put a price tag on her vagina. But she's the same one now. Is like, yo, listen, if I throw 10,000 at you, can I beat tonight? But what would her level of confidence be then? What would her level?
Doc, we've heard the saying, right? And we've heard it. I mean, the saying has been around a really long time. But again, I heard it again recently at the cigar lounge. And listen, not to be vulgar, but a wet pussy and an empty purse don't match.
Lies.
Listen.
I've seen plenty of broke niggas get.
Word. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm a real nigga when it comes down to it. I've seen the same type of women who's talking all this, oh, you can't mess with me and all this unless you pulling an idiot. I've seen the same one messing with some low lives, and I can point them out. So it's like,
tell you right now, man. And this been a theory of mine for a little minute. If you want a 10, a dime, you either got to have money or you got to be funny. I see some of the funniest niggas with the best looking of them.
Doc, I guess that's why we got these dimes out here, Doc. Because
listen,
funny.
Listen, I'm funny. I look good. You hear me? And I put in that work. Don't play with me.
you know, funny niggas been getting picked off their whole life because they ugly. So they know how to crack and make somebody laugh.
Not in our home either. God, love, respect runs our home. That's a fact, Lisa. That's a fact.
Agreed.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Coach Love, we here fired up tonight. We here ready to go tonight.
Yo, can we get? Is there room to get Coach Love in? Because I Coach Love, can you jump in? Can we get her in for the conversation?
Let me see. Coach Love, do me a favor and send me an email right quick. Go to Instagram and send me an email through the Instagram, and I'll be able to send it to you.
Yo, I would love to just draw her in. I mean, I love her comments in the section, but I would really love for people to hear it. You right from a woman's perspective, right, on relationships and dating. Right
now, to play devil advocate for a little bit, if the dude is in the home, he's bringing in a bag, but for their lifestyle, it's not enough, and he's content with not having more, and I could possibly then see the conversation. You get what I'm saying? Like, y'all here. For example, he was making 100,000. Something happened. Now he's making 50,000. There was living up here, and he's content now with just living down here.
Well, hold on, you changing the story though.
I did it purposely. Okay, here's what I'm saying. I could understand her now coming with this conversation of you're not bringing in enough, bro. Like what are you doing? Especially if his will is or he's content where he is now. One thing a woman cannot do is go back from a lifestyle. It's hard for a woman to go back from a lifestyle. It's hard for a man to go back sexually.
Absolutely.
If you busted wide open for all this time and you try to take it on back and act like a nun now, it's a problem.
Yo, it take it back and act like a nun. It's a nun for me.
Problem. You know what? I think I don't know. I think it just depends on the relationship too. I think it depends on the relationship, KB. I think there obviously there has to be a conversation about finances, right?
Absolutely.
Hold on, yeah. But I now I'm confused because I need to have context on this because I can see KB, like you said, once we're in a relationship and you're trying to motivate him, make him better, push him to raise his standards, get him back to where he was, or even get it to a high another level, I'm all the way with that. My wife kicks my ass when I'm laying down too many times or I'm not on my game. I'm with that wholeheartedly. But what I'm not okay with is this entrance fee type attitude to quote unquote play with you. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
not even play with you, just to get your time.
And that's insane to me. Like,
I don't disagree at all, bro.
But here's the thing, and I think there's something socially wrong with it. I think there's something, I don't know, maybe there's something morally wrong with it. But definitely at a social level, right?
It's cultural as well.
Culturally, I think there's something wrong with it as well.
I just think it's morally fucked up, bro.
Well, could be. It could be, but here's the thing: when you look at, because we were having a conversation in my house the other night. Y'all have a choice to stay and try to figure that out or move. Don't waste your time.
Facts.
I agree.
True facts. But again, as we look at the current state of affairs as it is right now, right? Because we were having a conversation in my house the other night about, OnlyFans, right? And my wife was like, "You got an OnlyFans account?" I don't.
Don't nobody want to see that, but listen, you understand that?
But listen, but when you look at when you look at what's happening out here, right? Because again, doing a lot of research, right? Because we were coming back to this for the show. Listen, you got chicks out here charging dudes, right? And I know we're kind of swaying from relationships, but it has something to do with it. One, you got chicks out here charging dudes on Twitter, OnlyFans, Instagram. First of all, they're charging you a fee just to have a conversation with them, right? So I already got a problem with not with the chick, because at the end of the day, nobody can do to you what you don't let them do. But if a man is paying you $5, $10, $15, or $50 just to have a conversation with you in your DMs, he's a damn dummy.
Yo, no, and I'm about to say she's smart.
Oh yeah,
I was just getting ready to say that. I was just getting ready to say that because
right now, let me tell y'all right now, any woman that needs me to get an ADM and want to pay me to send you back some fraudulent messages, no problem. My number, you can get my number, just DM me on Instagram. I got you. You need me to send you some stupid messages, you need to pay me per message, let's go.
But the point that I'm trying to make is it ruining the thought process of relationships? Because what you're saying, granted, these men, it's a fantasy for some men, right? But when it becomes not fantasy, when it becomes because you've made so much money, making men pay to talk to you, you've literally made money because men are willing to pay you to unblock them. Listen, bro, it's happening out here. Listen, I know y'all not listen, y'all laughing, right? Y'all laughing.
Listen, Troy. I think.
Look at the guy you talking.
I honestly, and I may be naive about this whole thing, but I honestly think it's a small number. Especially if you're. I feel like if you're going to their platform as a man and you're expecting them to accept you without having to pay to play, it's not going to happen because you're on their platform.
I agree.
You're coming to them with the idea to pay for it. But I'm talking about if I'm just out on the streets and I see someone at the gas station and I say, "Hey, how you doing, Miss Young Lady?" Or that blase, and I try to spit game, and then you ask me for my checkbook, then that's a problem. But if I'm going to your platform,
so let me say this, Doc, real quick. Your constant actions at some point dictate your mentality. When you hustle in the streets, it creates when you do something every day, all day, it creates a certain mentality. It creates a certain thought process, right? From whether you hustle in the street, when you hustle in the street.
But you got it backwards, Troy. You got it backwards.
Hold on, Doc. But now so the difference is they're not hustling in the street. They're hustling online. They're hustling coochie online. Their thought process is, or could it be, I don't want to say definitely is, when they see men who pull up to them just on a regular, is their thought process, I'm not talking to you unless I know you're going to spend on me.
Check this out.
Is it ruining relationships?
I think that when it comes down to it all, if the individual, if the woman, if her thought process, right? If her thought process is, what can I get from? Or that's number one, I don't want to do it as a man. And I think any man that hears a woman that, and I said this on one of my pieces of content, it's very small, subtle words that you can hear in someone's conversation if you should move on in a personal relationship or even a mutual going forward relationship. If the individual is talking about what they can get from you opposed to what they can do with you, there's a telltale sign if you should be moving forward with this person or not. Case in point, if the woman says to you, "Yo, what you gonna do for me tonight? Or where you taking me tonight?" Red flag. Opposed to her saying, well, "Honey, what are we doing tonight? Where are we going tonight?" Because it's a different energy. It's a different statement. Now, one thing I'm never going to do is tell any woman how and where to behave. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to tell the men, because we're talking about, like KB said, a very small selection of men whose confidence is very, very small, that are going to these women's platform, acting out and looking for love in the wrong places, obviously. Well, what we're going to say to those young kings is this: stop. Stop going to these platforms and wasting your money looking for love. If you want to go to these platforms and get a nut bust, if you're looking for these platforms to get some instant gratification, cool, so be it. If that's what you do, that's your thing. But if you go into these platforms and you're looking for relations, and then you've seen these women in the street and thinking you're gonna make a house and a home with them, you're living a delusion,
bro.
So you know what?
OnlyFans ain't never make sense to me, bro.
Well, listen,
Pornhub is free.
It don't gotta make sense. It don't gotta make sense, KB. The shit made millions, bro. It made billions.
You don't understand me. I get it. It's just never Pornhub is free though. Like it's the same damn thing. I can look at
them. If you go to Pornhub and type in some of these names, they'll pop right up.
Listen, I can look at your little 30-second clip 32 times and get there.
I've been saying this for a long behind time. Men stop making decisions with a full nutsack.
Yes, KB. Yes,
stop it.
KB. No, some real G
shit. Be on off and see if you still want to go pay to have this conversation. I'm saying though.
No, honestly, KB, like we sit here, we joking, we having a good time with it, but that's some real game advice.
Can I tell you something funny real quick?
Hold on, before you say that, because I want to add on to that one second. Yo, listen, a part of the dating game is also too, fellas. Don't go out with that gun loaded on the date.
Especially do it.
Empty the clip. If you a type of dude who empty the clip on your own, holler at another joint. I'm telling you, I'm giving real game out right now. Don't go on these first time dates, especially with these quote unquote baddies with a full gun, because you end up paying your whole rent check just because they was talking crazy to you.
Yo, I just got dizzy. Yo, but that's real facts. Yo, like, listen, go out with an empty pistol.
Right.
And just hope if the time comes, you can still recuperate. So some of us can't pull it back to back.
But let me tell you some real shit about that though, Troy. Like, if you smooth enough, right, and if you got enough confidence to pull it off, it'll work in your benefit. Let me explain why. Because that whole back around to the front of the race. All you gotta do is say, "Listen, sweetheart, I'm not one of those. You ain't getting me on the first night. You gotta work for this." See, now it just puts you in a position of excellence.
Why I keep
we got Coach Love pull up. Look at that right here, right on time. We got 15 minutes.
That's why I kept a half a blue pill in my pocket. Keep a backup bullet out here, boy. I keep one just to put in the chamber.
He said half a bullet.
Hey, what's up, Blue Chew?
Yo,
Coach Love in the building.
Wait, like I always thought I would get some prep time before I had to be in the hot seat with y'all. Like, I feel some kind of way.
Listen, Troy, TR pulled you up tonight. He said he has something to holler at you about tonight. It's been on his heart. Listen, he needs a woman's advice tonight, Coach. So please help TR tonight.
No, listen.
Let me Thank you for letting me be here. I love you guys. I sincerely love you guys.
Love you too.
I promise you guys, when I'm able to be here, I can be here. I just happened to come out of class And Mike had posted that like we're here, but it's a new time. I was like, wait, it's Tuesday. But I was like, okay, I'm woke. Let me get in here and see what's popping.
Yeah, we switching things up going to the new year, Coach Love. So listen, because we always see you in the comments, and I've actually always wanted to kind of get your perspective on a lot of stuff that we talk about, just from a woman's perspective. I don't know whether you are single or whether you are married. Is there a Mr. Love out there?
One time there was more than one Mr. I'm currently single though.
Okay.
We'll save that conversation for another day. But I'm polyamorous, so there's more than one all the time.
Oh,
this is a conversation we need to have.
Yes, Lord.
I'll be back. I'll come back to that in 2022.
Coach Love says she fit to hit y'all in the head with that poly game. So listen. So we were kind of talking about dating, right? And how women potentially view men when it comes to dating, either from a financial aspect or just from a pure attraction, right, aspect. Is how much money he spends on the first date important?
Absolutely not. Typically, I choose for the first date to be a date that doesn't require any monetary investment. On purpose. Unfortunately, men and women alike have been conditioned that they need to arrive a certain way in the dating scene, so to speak. So typically, the average, and I'm saying average, not meaning for that to sound less than, but I'm saying the average woman typically shows up with some sort of external expectation from the king. And kings are taught that if they show up representing those expectations, then they'll get what they want externally from the queen. But if you're meaning to develop something, you should probably just show up with nothing. I always tell women, I'd like to see how quickly I can get you naked on the first date. And I say that to say, I want to know who you are, literally, when there's no title, no bank accounts, no Versace or whatever it is folks are wearing these days. No shape up, because sometimes you don't make it to the barbershop on time. All of those external things have to be out of the way. They're typically distractions. I'm always coming straight for what's happening on the inside. If you feel uncomfortable speaking about yourself, then we probably not going to be able to connect. If you don't have anything to offer other than the fact that you might be a millionaire or you make six figures, then it's not likely we're going to evolve into anything of substance.
So is that a sapiosexual nakedness, or is that a physical nakedness?
It's literally just, it's not a literal. It's more or less just the concept of how honest are you about who you are. So are you going to stand 10 toes down to the ground as RJ or whoever you may be? Are you going to be yourself in that moment? Like outside of all of the material things and, the other things that people think are important.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach Love. If, let's say someone, and I love everything you just said, but let's say that person is not necessarily a very open person, because I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. I'm confident within myself, but I'm not confident within, I'm not going to say that. I'm not confident in speaking to who I am to people 100%. And this is something that I had to kind of work on throughout this year, because one of the reasons my prior marriage failed, is because I kept everything in. I realized this, I internalized it, I started working on it. And, but to come out naked on that first date and be vulnerable to me is almost like a curse word. So is that something that you would recognize and be like, okay, I see him trying, or just because he's uncomfortable, it's a no-go?
Oh no, absolutely. You always get an A++ for effort. That's allowed for every human, but particularly for the man. Mainly because I know that's not normally what you're given, but my energy is such that even on the first date, the space will be sacred enough for you to feel as vulnerable as you like. I'm not going to force anything, but it's always a way to tell if it's you being uncomfortable or if it's you purposely looking to omit information.
I love that because
Queens know the difference. You know the difference.
I absolutely love that because that's, I think, one of the things that I come to realize is that I'm not open because I don't believe that what I reveal won't be weaponized.
Right, exactly.
So
no, we don't play that game. We don't play that game.
Now, so check this out, because I have it now, Coach Love, and I love your heart and your perspective on life. Because what I heard you say just now is like you like to have an event where there's nothing monetary being brought to the stage. Now, the reason why I like that is because we just seen the world shut down, right? We see the world shut down, and
might be heading right back there, like for real.
Right, we might be going right back into it. But
year number 3,
it didn't matter. You couldn't do anything with it. You can't. You can't go nowhere. You can't travel. The only thing you can do is order on Amazon, and how much fun can that be after a while, right? So when the money doesn't matter anymore, what do you have? And this is why, Troy, the way you said it when you started the podcast is that is ruining relationships, but the pandemic really exposed the truth. It didn't ruin it, exposed the truth. People really was going into relationships for the wrong reasons from the get-go.
Agreed.
Right.
If you come into this thing looking, what are you going to get from an individual? Off the rip, your mentality is off.
Right.
You got to ask yourself, what can I offer to the situation? What am I bringing to the table? Can I compliment this person? Because the truth of the matter is this. Every man knows this. When you see a woman that has a certain amount of money or a certain look about her, you know if you're ready to approach her or not. Period, point blank. You have any conversation with yourself and you say, you know what? Do I have a chance? You have that real conversation. And to be honest, Coach Love, women do it too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. No.
Shoot your shot, King. She block it.
And but that's something we can work on, though. That's something we can work on, because guess what? Like, I'm one of those women. I don't believe there's no competition. There's no such thing. You know who you are. Walk in that. Okay. However that looks for you. I always say every man should do what's most natural to the character of his heart. Right. So if in fact you happen to be in the company of a woman that has not created energy that makes you feel safe enough to be naked, then bro, I advise you not to get naked. I'm just saying. I know, and RJ can speak to this. In our very first conversation, RJ and I spoke virtually for 2 hours, and RJ cried on our first conversation.
Nice.
So I know my power as a goddess, but I also know that women, as you said, we use the most sacred information to weaponize it against our kings and then expect them to just, get down on one knee and propose and say we're gonna be together forever. There's no honor in you not, being yourself, and you not honoring what's true for you and doing what's most natural for you. So any of those narratives that exist, I always say later for that. However you can show up in the moment, that's what I respect the most. Because if I happen to ask you to be in a space with me, there's for a reason. And the goal in that is just to see if you can have a conversation. I think a lot of things that happen as far as relationships or connections and all of those things are because people haven't mastered the art of conversation. Because you know yourself, like even though you just said, I'm shy, I need to work on some things, you just very clearly, or I wouldn't say shy, but the expression you just gave, you were there was no like second guessing what you were saying about yourself. You know yourself, and you seem very confident in sharing what you wanted to share in that moment. You do that everywhere with every person. But if someone shows you some energy that lets you know they don't appreciate that, then you have to pull some of that back. But you guys are like all pretty dope. I don't think, but there's always more room for improvement. That's the biggest room in the world, right? But I think, relationships are not as difficult as people make them seem. I think the best thing we can do as far as relationship, meaning just basic relation between ourselves and each other, conversation. I say the things we can do the best with others are the things we can do best with ourselves. If you struggle in a space of having an honest conversation and honestly reflecting with yourself, then I already know your intention is such that when you get in my space, you're going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have expectations. We just move with intention. Your intentions will set the precedent for what you need.
So, Coach, but let me ask you this. does the weight of should the weight of my wallet dictate the conversation, whether she has a conversation with me or not, or whether I have a conversation with her or not?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you something. The only people that need to know what's in your wallet other than you is maybe the people that you send some money to on a monthly basis, and probably Uncle Sam. Outside of that, my opinion is that is nobody else's business. You got to earn the right to get into my wallet. You can't just come to me like, oh, what kind of job you got? How much money you make? Mind your business.
Right.
That's personal. That's personal information.
And let me tell y'all, and I'm all the way with that. Like, and this is why I know, like, if somebody asked me the other day, is like, yo, how would you fare in the dating game right now at this stage of the game if you had to enter it? I tell you right now, I'd be a savage. I was a savage before I got in as a I'd be more of a savage now with more class and dignity about myself. But trust me when I tell you, I'd be running around here as a wild animal. But just because it reasons like this, because I don't appreciate like this attitude of you gotta show me what you got in order to be in my presence. Who are you? And what makes you feel that way? What gives you that feeling or unction that you can just walk around and demand someone's a bank account information to be in their presence? Like what?
All right. The audacity of people, I tell you.
Listen, I don't think it's but again, the internet, Twitter, fans, OnlyFans, Fansly, IG, they have changed people's audacity.
I agree with you.
But you know why? That's an illusion, though.
Right.
Social media is an illusion. It's a very short highlight reel of the latest and the greatest and the fittest and the bestest. But that's not reality. Listen, and I'm saying this because I've been in a room with people that were millionaires and seen them treat other people like crap.
Facts.
And I've seen a person that somebody may consider quote unquote poor because he collected trash off the block. And he has a very high level of integrity and character. So it's not about money. Money just typically enhances whatever really already exists.
Right.
Either you got it or you don't.
That's all that money is. It shows you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the truth. But check this out, y'all. We're coming down to the last few minutes, right? Now, this conversation has led into one that we're about to have a phenomenal year coming up, y'all, in this next coming year. First episode of the year, I think we might have Coach Love come back on here to talk that poly talk for us, because I've never heard it from a woman's perspective, to be honest, Coach. So I need to hear your perspective on it.
I love it.
Really actually ask some questions because, like I said, I've never heard a woman's perspective on it. So I would love to have you come back, sit down and have that poly talk with us. You know what I mean?
So, absolutely. I'll come back through here like the woo. I'll show y'all what it's about.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
I appreciate the invitation, but I'm gonna still be in the comments. I'm always here to support you guys any way I can, you know. And then I'll come another time and talk about heart work, because y'all gonna have to do some heart work before y'all keep all this relationship stuff going.
Yes, yeah, and let me tell you, I'm really with that. That's gonna be a heavy conversation. But you know,
by the time we come back, y'all know the book is out, and the second book is out. By the time I come back, book 3 will be out. So we're gonna have plenty to talk about in 2022.
Already? Yeah, you ain't no joke. You ain't no joke. Okay.
Go ahead and show. Let everybody know where they could go and find it.
Yes, Coach Love.
Listen, I'm typically hanging out on IG more than Facebook, but you guys, if you DM me here, my official name on Facebook is Lavinia Barkley. Same person. But if you go on IG, one Coach Love _ and there's actually a link there. You can pre-order the 3rd book that's coming out next month, which is called The Gentleman versus the Gentleman. There is a difference. Heart Work is actually out now, and so is Dear Gentleman, Healing is for You. Those 2 books can be ordered right now. If you'd like to have a wonderful message written in there for you along with my signature, you can order directly from me. But if you're feeling like you want to get started, you can go to Amazon and get Heart Work, and it'll get to you in a couple of days.
Coach Love, I have one question. Are you charging extra for the autograph?
No. That's just love. That's just love. You know, if you're willing to proactively invest in yourself, I'm willing to proactively share some love with you. Just on the street.
Coach Love, check this out. sign it real slow on OnlyFans, right? So write it real slow and charge them every stroke.
Can you put yourself in the Could you put yourself in the background?
Okay, hold on.
I don't need no OnlyFans. RJ trying to get me in trouble, y'all.
We just needed him to keep me gone for a quick second. Yeah. Talking about something doing slow for OnlyFans. Negro, please let me say my piece. Hey, Young Kings.
Thank you guys so much.
Young Kings, go where you are celebrated and not just tolerated, because it will save you some heartache and pain down the road. That's all I got to say for y'all.
Yo, TR, what you got, man, before we get up out of here?
Listen, I think some of us just have to simply do some self-censorship when it comes to, the same way that we took a spiritual break from this program. I think sometimes just taking a spiritual break from what's happening on the internet can create a whole different level of context in your world. It can help you see things differently. And again, what I always say, finding a professional level of emotional support can make a huge world of difference for you. That's it.
Hey, Coach Love, one more word before we get up out of here, especially to these women out here in these streets. What you got for them before we get up out of here, Coach?
Coach the men up.
Listen, this applies to men and women alike. Always do only the things that honor your truest character of heart.
Yo, I ain't even got nothing really to come up in all that, because y'all have dropped these bombs. The only thing I'm gonna say is, just like Coach said, be true to yourself. And if someone's, I do have one more thing to say. If someone that states whatever their opinion is of themselves or what their standards are affects you negatively, there's some personal development that you have to do. No one's opinions or thought process of what they need in their life should affect you negatively. If it does, there is some work that needs to be done. Man up, do the work. Woman up, do the work. And until the next time we see you guys, our energy, our vibe. Be good to yourself and the ones around you. But if you can't be good to the ones around you, that's okay too. Just get those folk from around you. Yo, this is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and this has been another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Y'all be blessed. We will.
Peace.
Peace.